Hi all. Today we are going to discuss about the second chapter of politics, that is federalism. Already in the first chapter we have discussed about Belgium and Sri Lanka. And there were four major amendments made in the constitution of Belgium. Belgium have shifted from unitary to a federal form of government. Sri Lanka continued the unitary system. So earlier Belgium had only one level of government, but now Belgium has moved to the federal form of government, that is two or more levels of government have been formed in Belgium. But Sri Lanka, the same demand was raised by the Tamils to form a separate state, but their demands were continuously rejected and Sri Lanka was continuing as a unitary system. So Tamils demanded Sri Lanka to become a federal system, but that was not accepted. Now what is federalism? Federalism means a system where power is divided between center and constituent units of the country. So there is a system where the power is divided between two or more levels of government. In India, the constituent units are recognized as states, but different countries may have different name for the constituent units. Now, unitary system, either there is only one level of government or the subunits are subordinate to the central government. So, mostly in the unitary system, there may be only one level of government, that is the central government or the unitary government. And there might be subunits, but the subunits are not recognized as the states. The subunits have no independent powers. The subunits are all subordinate to the central government, comes under the control of the central government. Now we can discuss about the key features of federalism. In most of the federal countries, there are either two or more levels of government, that is central government, state government or the local government. Different tiers of government govern the same citizens, but each tier has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of legislation, taxation and administration. So the center government has been given some powers, state governments have been given powers and the local governments also have been given the power. So the constitution has clearly specified the powers of the central government, state government and the local government. So each tier has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of legislation. Law is different for the central government, different laws for the state governments and different laws for the local governments has been specified in the constitution. Different types of taxes. What are the taxes going to the center, going to the state and the local government is also specified in the constitution. Administration. What type of elections, when and how the election has to be conducted at the center, at the state and at the local level, that is also clearly specified in the constitution. Jurisdictions of respective tiers of government are specified in the constitution. So the existence and authority of each tier of government is constitutionally guaranteed. So the powers, what are the powers of the center, state and local government is clearly specified in the constitution to avoid any kind of conflict that can occur between the center or the state or the local government. So the center has no right to interfere in the powers of the state government and local government. Similarly, the state government cannot interfere in the powers of the center or the local level. Each tier's separate jurisdiction has been clearly specified in the constitution. Fundamental provisions of the constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. So if an amendment has to be made in the Constitution of India or in any federal country, it requires the consent of both the center as well as the state government. So the central government alone or the state government alone cannot make any changes in the constitution. Next point, courts have the power to interpret the constitution. Now, if new and new types of complicated cases are coming to the court, for example, if a new type of case is coming to the magistrate court or the high court, where the chief justice is not able to give the solution for the complicated case, High Court Chief Justice can give an appeal to the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court is also facing the same kind of case for the first time, the Supreme Court can ask for the reference of Constituent Assembly debates. Because when the Constitution of India was framed, all the discussions and debates that took place have been written in 12 bulky volumes called the Constituent Assembly debates. So just like using the dictionary for finding the meaning of difficult words, if there is any confusion regarding the law of the constitution, reference can be made from the Constituent Assembly debates. So the courts have the power to interpret the constitution. They can ask for the reference from the Constituent Assembly debates. Sources of revenue for each level of government are clearly specified to ensure financial autonomy. Now, different types of taxes are coming to the center, to the state, and the local government. So, which all tax should go to which level of government is clearly specified in the constitution to avoid any kind of confusion or conflict between the different levels of government. Dual objectives of federal system are to safeguard and promote unity of the country, at the same time accommodate regional diversity. So there are two objectives of a federal system, that is to promote and safeguard the unity of the country. You know that the population of the country may be different in nature, but unity has to be strengthened, and it is the duty of the government to strengthen the unity among the population. If there is no unity, the country may be countries may be divided into small independent countries, and at the same time accommodate regional diversity. All the diverse groups of population must be accommodated within the boundary of the nation. Now, India is the best example for accommodating all the diverse groups of population within our country, because totally from east to west, north to south, people are all diverse in nature, but the government has taken the responsibility for promoting unity among the population, and at the same time we are able to accommodate all the diverse groups of population within our border. An ideal federal system has both aspects, mutual trust and agreement to live together. So a good federal system has two aspects, that is mutual trust. There must be trust between the center and the state and the neighboring states, and agreement to live together. We should all agree to live together at the same time within the country of our country. So there should not be any kind of conflict between the center or the state. If the center trusts the state, state will also trust the center. And if the neighboring states trust each other, we trust each other, that helps to strengthen the unity of our nation. So these are the key features of federalism that we have discussed. The next is the two routes to which federations have been formed. Usually the federations are formed in two manners, that is coming together federation and holding together federation. Coming together federation, this route involves independent states coming on their own to form a bigger unit. By pooling sovereignty and retaining identity, they can increase their security. Now the small countries that are not able to stand alone, what they are doing is to increase their power. Small countries They join together and they become bigger unit. Small independent countries join together on their own will and they form a bigger unit. And they are pooling sovereignty. They are all sovereign countries. That means they are all free from external power. And retaining identity. Each state may have its own identity. They can increase their security. So when many small units are coming together and forming a bigger unit, they are strengthening their security. Example for coming together federations are USA, Switzerland and Australia. So USA is an example for U the first letter of USA, S the first letter of Switzerland and A the first letter of Australia. So example for coming together federations are USA, Switzerland and Australia. Small independent countries come together to form a bigger unit by pooling their sovereign power. Now all the constituent states have equal power. Here each separate state have same power. The other route is holding together federations. Here countries like India are very big in size. Administration is very difficult. So what the country is doing is dividing its power among small states. And the states are also very big in size, bigger than some of the countries in the world. For smooth administration, states are also dividing its power among the local government. So a large country, if decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government, it is called a holding together federation. Example is BIS, Bureau of Indian Standard. You know the standard used for identifying the purity of gold. Here B, first letter of Belgium, I, first letter of India and S, first letter of Spain. So holding together federations are example are Belgium, India and Spain. A large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. So power is divided between the center and the state for the smooth administration. Here the central government tends to be more powerful in relation to the states. So central government is more powerful. States have been given lesser powers. Some units are granted special powers and some of the states are also given some special powers. That's all. Thank you.